be on Brazil's level. Because that's the only country we can compare ourselves to when talking about socialized healthcare. In Brazil, they have socialized healthcare. They have a population that's only slightly less than us, and they have a massive amount of racial and cultural diversity, okay, in Brazil. With that in mind, we can't compare ourselves to Finland. We can't do that. We can't compare ourselves to Sweden. We can't compare ourselves to Norway. Why? Because in Finland they have 5.5 million people. Sweden they have 9 million. And in Norway they have 5.2. We have 327.2. Also, they're 98% white people. Meanwhile, in the U.S., we're super diverse. We have all sorts of various different cultures with different healthcare needs, both physically and culturally. So it's going to end up like Brazil. And in Brazil, their healthcare program sucks. It's horrible. It's miserable, and people end up going to private hospitals for care anyway, because the public hospitals suck. They're terrible. In Brazil, you end up waiting for a day to get any treatment whatsoever. Doesn't matter the level of severity, you're waiting in the day. There are lines in the hallway, people sitting in the hallway. They end up having to start doing medical procedures on people in the hallways of the hospital because they're too crowded. That's what healthcare would look like in the U.S. That's what socialized medicine would look like in the U.S. It wouldn't look like Finland. It wouldn't look like the U.K. It wouldn't look like Iceland. It would look like Brazil. And I don't want it to look like Brazil, personally. Bearded Dragon says, eating on the air, are you sumo now? Hey, I am not eating on the air. The microphone is never on when I'm eating my cream of crab soup. Keep that in mind. Bearded Dragon. 302-839-1059, talk or text. We might be, as Bernie says, the only first world country without socialized medicine. But we're also, if we were to provide it, we would not provide a first world country's medical system if we did. Let's go to Rob in Orlando. Rob, hello.
Rob Sussman, thanks for having me on the program.
Of course, man. Of course, absolutely. What do you think about this?
Yes, I'm a big Sanders supporter, and I just want to tell you and all the listeners that are hating on this, first of all, this is going to help almost everybody in America. You might be paying more taxes, but there's going to be no premiums, no deductibles. They're getting rid of all that money. That's just going to be in the American people's pocket now, where they can spend money on other goods. So anybody that's against this is a total fool, doesn't know what they're talking about, and just hating on the word.
Well, what makes you think it would be like these European countries that you idolize in this regard? What makes you think it's going to be like that?
It's just not a European country. Look at Canada. They have the same sort of
still, Canada has a fraction of the population of ours. We have 300 million. They're somewhere like 12.
I don't know about 12 million. I think they should have a little bit more than that. But besides the point, I think that it's a good policy because if you look at the policies that they have, and you look at Bernie did a speech the other day on democratic socialism. It's not socialism in context of Cuba, Venezuela, all these other different countries. It's what FDR wanted when he was in office in 1938. Now, he died after being elected over 4 terms as a president.
Right.
Now, he didn't get to enact all these policies that Bernie's talking about. But these aren't socialist policies. These are policies that almost every country that's a main country in the world stage has these policies that we're trying to still navigate and get past in this country.
Well, okay, now I did look it up while you were talking. Canada has 40 million people. You're correct. It has 40 million people. You were right. It was more than that. Still significantly less than the 327.2 million that we have right now. Like the problem I have is this. If what you say is correct and we were able to somehow flip a switch and all of a sudden make this entire thing pretty much essentially free to the American people, if we were able to do that and provide a first world socialized healthcare system, I might be for it. But the problem is the only country that we can compare ourselves to in this regard is Brazil, and Brazil has a terrible healthcare system. How do we implement something like that in the United States while still maintaining a first world healthcare system?
Okay. Well, first of all, we look at our healthcare system now. How many people die in our healthcare system now from not having coverage, I've heard stories that people have had, severe illnesses where they go in debt and they say they kill themselves. Well, now, whether I agree with that or you agree with that or whatever, but they're a debt on their family, and they're thinking.
Well, and I'm not arguing that the system that we have right now is good, because the system right now that we have is not good. It's not a good system at all. I'm just trying to figure out why this next system would actually work when the only country that we have that we could even possibly compare ourselves to has a complete disaster of a healthcare system.
Well, I'll tell you what. Regardless of, I know you said Brazil is your comparison, but like I said, I know the population is different in the other countries, but let's look at all these other countries and see they've had more successes than failures. Why not at least try it? If it doesn't work, you scrap it and you go back again.
Well, I mean, do you think we'll do that? I mean, do you think we'll do that, though? Because, I mean, we look at a system like, say, Social Security in the United States. Social Security is a gigantic failure that is going to run out of money in 2030 and take the rest of us down with it, including young guys like you and I who've been paying into it our whole lives. We're not going to see a cent. We're never going to go back on Social Security now. There's no way that we're ever going to, it's going to have to collapse in some horrible, gigantic meltdown, because there is no political capital to remove that. There won't be political capital to remove something like this if you put it in place. There just won't be.
Right. And even though I'm a progressive and you're more to the right than me, we can both look at Social Security and say, yes, there is some problems with Social Security, but a lot of it is, first problem is the politicians go into these programs and take money out.
Well, I mean, even if you remove that, though, even if you remove that and you put all the money back in that they took out, it would still fail because of the way it's set up in the beginning. Because it has to have a constant stream of new payers, and we do not have a constant stream of new population, especially now.
Well, people only taxed as far as income on I think it's like $130,000 of what they make.
Right.
We should up that up to more money.
That's kicking the can down the road.
More money up. Say again?
That's kicking the can down the road. I mean, eventually that too will fail as the population continues to decline.
Well, that's why we have to invest in programs. First of all, and I want to leave you with this,
okay,
Rob, is that if you look at these programs and I'm a stand in support, as I said earlier in the call, if you look at the programs that he's trying to invest in, he's trying to invest in America. Now, whether you agree with that or not, me and you disagree on that, that's fine. But if talking about Medicare for all, if we invest in this and try this program, first of all, like I said, you'll get rid of the deductibles, you'll get rid of all these health care plans that are driving up the cost. We can put prescriptions and get them from other countries such as Canada, which a lot of conservatives are working on.
Right.
As Donald Trump said in the campaign, he's for that.
Right.
So we can look into all these programs to drive the cost down. But we need to start with this plan, which is what I believe is Medicare for all. If we make people healthier, they'll work harder, they'll feel better, and they'll live longer lives. And I think that'll make America way more successful than it is now when you have healthier people and people that are happier.
Okay, so you just heard from Rob in Orlando. He's given the Bernie Sanders position on this thing. I want to know if you agree. We're going to hit this break. Thank you, Rob. 302-839-1059, talk or text. You just heard his take on it. We had a little bit of a back and forth. Would you be delighted to pay more in taxes if it meant socialized health care? We heard from Bernie.
Kent Pharmacy would like to thank the local community by offering fast, friendly, and personalized service. Kent Pharmacy will organize